Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. You're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of anywhere else? And that's because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. But I do. I mean, they talk down to us all the time. They call us a bunch of clowns, like we know nothing, and I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Take, and I haven't watched the clip, but I saw like a quote from it, and it drove me nuts, quite honestly. And I was like, okay, I definitely have to do this because there's a lot of hate coming towards Steph Curry and about, his leadership because of Draymond Green. And the quote says, Draymond Green is diminishing the ultimate legacy of how people are looking at the leadership of Stephen Curry. That's what's happening right now. That is not what's happening right now. That is so absurd. No one's saying that. No high-level basketball minds are thinking that or saying that, or maybe random fans saying that. I don't know, maybe, but this idea that that's like an actual real conversation to be had, no, that is called you are making something out of absolutely nothing. Okay. And it's just like, no one's saying that. No one believes that Steph Curry has any control over Draymond Green. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I can't even understand the logic behind it. So let's take a listen to see what he says, and maybe it'll make more sense. I don't know, but let's take a listen.
I'm getting texts from people that I value their decision, right? Okay. High-level people. And what these texts are reading is, well, how about the leadership of Stephen Curry? That's where these conversations are going. And in my brain, right, processing information, Molly.
Wait, what do you mean? How about the leadership of Stephen Curry? They're calling Steph out?
Yes. Oh. Right? For him not controlling Draymond. So in my brain, the way I process that is because I know Steph. I spent time around Steph. We were talking about this during Get Up. We wish we could have a camcorder in Steph's car, right?
Yeah.
All the things that Steph would be saying to his wife and how he's frustrated about, because he's one of the most competitive dudes you ever meet.
No doubt.
Draymond Green is diminishing the ultimate legacy of how people are looking at the leadership of Stephen Curry. That's what's happening right now.
The only thing I will say, Jay, I think that's in a group of people.
I agree.
I don't think that's like the universal mentality, right, is to think about Steph. And where are you in this, Steph? At all. I do think there are people that are always going to be devil's advocate. They're contrarians. They're going to raise this kind of question about somebody. To me, that's an ultimate statement.
What does this have to do with Steph, though? Like, what should Steph be doing here? What are these critics saying?
These people are saying that Steph should not. Well, look, I disagree with them. Let me state that for the record, right? Because I know him. I know how things have been addressed internally multiple times. But what happens is perception is reality for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't familiar with things that are happening behind closed doors. So there's a tendency when you hear them talk about it, people just keep tiptoeing around it instead of calling Draymond Green out publicly.
Well, so, okay. One real quick thing is, if people don't know this, and you know this, what Steph Curry's doing behind the scenes, why don't you report on what Steph Curry is doing behind the scenes rather than giving these dumb hot take clickbait nonsense that, Steph Curry's leadership is, the legacy of Steph Curry's leadership is being ruined right now. I mean, that's insane. You're now adding fuel to a fire that barely didn't exist. That was like a couple people texted you and probably were like, hey, what do you think this is doing with Steph's, with Steph's legacy? I feel like it might be tarnishing it, but I don't know. And now he's acting like people are like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. He can't control Draymond. Draymond's his own man. Did Michael Jordan control Dennis Rodman? No. And did anyone care? No. This is also at the end of their dynasty. The end of their run. This isn't in the middle of their dynastic run. This wasn't, they won not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. They actually did what the LeBron James said that he was going to do with the Miami Heat. The not 1, the not 2, not 3. He actually did it. Him, Clay, and Dre. Okay? So this whole idea that his legacy is even remotely tarnished, or that people want to call him out as a leader even slightly, makes no sense. I genuinely can't comprehend it, and it's hard for me to even come up with anything too strong or too specific against it, because it's like trying to argue that there's no oxygen in the air right now. It's like, of course there is. I don't know how to explain it to you, like, because you can't point, you can't see it in the air. It's like, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm breathing, and so therefore I am alive. Therefore there is oxygen in the air right now. And it's like, how do you combat a narrative that does not actually exist? It just seems very absurd to me. It really, really does.
Now, I get that, right? Like, I understand that. That's not the case because we know what's going on, Legs. But that's what's happening, even if it is a smaller niche of people. Like, these are high-level people now that are starting to look at it that way. And by the way, like,
well,
that
names.
to me is on Draymond. Yeah. That's on Draymond, because I think Steph is taking the higher road and how to deal with it.
Can we play the Steph sound again?
Yeah, that's about as strong as you're ever going to get
from him. Can we play that really?
And they want him, and then he was trying to allude that he should, make comments publicly. That's not what a leader does. A leader, especially since Steph knows Draymond and knows that if Steph now says something publicly like that, that brings more chaos to the organization, to the Warriors, to Draymond, to Steph. That puts a rift in between their relationship and their dynamic. What Steph did was way more of a leadership than I've seen of many other players, where he talks to Draymond behind the scenes and it says, come on, please stop doing this, you can't do this, whatever the heck they hash out. And publicly he says, hey, Draymond knows that we need him, and it's definitely harder, and he needs to do whatever he can to be able to make sure that he's on the floor with us, and left it at that. And then it just ends there, except for a stupid take like this, where if he came out and said, what Draymond is doing is ridiculous, he needs to grow up and mature, we can't take that anymore, he's jeopardizing our ability to win, he needs to stop, that would be a firestorm. The headlines would be all over the place. It would be saying, Steph's angry at Draymond, is this the end of Draymond, this, that, and it would be on and on and on, and it would be all over. That is the maker of a bad leader. But instead, the way how Steph handled it, you're forcing people like this to reach for takes. You're forcing them to reach. I got a text from a couple people that said, is this ruining Steph's legacy? Get out of here. What, like, seriously, what are you even talking about? When on the opposite is, if he came out and gave something very publicly, and said something negative towards Draymond, it would be all over. Every sports show would open it. Steph Curry calls out Draymond. Steph Curry slams Draymond, tells Draymond to grow up. It's unbelievable that people can't see the actual leadership. And then you have someone like him who leads the segment saying people are trying to call out, Draymond Green is diminishing the ultimate legacy of how people are looking at the leadership of Stephen Curry. I mean, that sentence, that quote is absurd to me. And there's just no truth to it. That's like reading, it's like going down the street, asking a random person their opinion, and then just saying, this is what people are saying. Okay, these are some high-level basketball players that he interacts with. Again, say names then. Say names. Like, who are you talking about right now? Are you talking about Shaq? Are you talking about Michael Jordan? Or are you talking about some guys who you trust? Who, yeah, you respect their opinion. But, like, okay. Because there's levels to this here. Is Michael Jordan saying this? Which I doubt. Or is it, Gilbert Arenas or something? Like, I just don't know. I resent a segment like this because it's giving a platform to an opinion that's not real. And again, if it's coming from someone whose opinion that a lot of people would respect, right? That a lot of people would want to know, then say it. Then say who it is. Because the way you just did it is, very political. People are saying that I'm the best president. Okay, who's saying that? People are saying that I can do this. And it's like, okay, who's saying this? People are saying, it's like, who are these people? Put some names on it. So, I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. And when I saw that quote, when I was on Twitter, I was just like, are you serious right now? Like, what? What nonsense is this? Right. We're going to challenge Steph Curry's, the legacy of his leadership or whatever. Get out of here. But those are just my opinions. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you think this was a good segment? Do you think what Jay Williams and the way he handled it was appropriate, or do you think it was wrong? Do you think that there's truth to this statement? Let me know in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. As I said, we are building an awesome community here, and I would really, really love to see you part of it. So please, if you want, definitely subscribe. And if you're seeing this video, that means a whole bunch of other videos were recently just posted. I post like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos a day. So definitely click around. I'm sure you'll find something else that you can get into. Thank you so much, and see you next time.